Are you considering to move to Miami but don't know how much your expenses will be? Imagine waking up every day with sun-kissed beaches like we have here in Miami, but at what cost? In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the cost of living here in Miami, from housing, taxes, insurance, car, transportation, dining, gym memberships, and the average salary needed to live in this city. And stay all the way to the end because I'm also going to share with you the average salary per neighborhood that's currently here in Miami. By the way, I'm Stefania Mogollon, your Miami and South Florida real estate agent, and like yourself, I decided to relocate to Miami, in my case from New York City, so do not hesitate to reach out to me, call, text, or email for anything related to relocation, buying real estate, even investing in real estate, because I am here to help you make the move. A recent report by CNBC listed the 15 most expensive cities in the United States, and Miami was not one of them. But is Miami really cheap? Let's find out, and let's start with housing. The median price of a single family home here in Miami is $609,000, while condos is $453,000. Now, with homeownership, you have different expenses like insurance and property taxes. So let's talk property taxes. The average here in Miami, it's around 1% of the assessed value, which if we apply it to the average home sale price, it's going to be around $6,100. And here is the chart that I want to share with you where we can see the comparison of property taxes from Miami versus Florida and compare also to the national average. There is no so much difference compared to the national average, but of course in other parts of Florida it's a little bit less expensive because it's less than 1%. It's actually 0.8% of the assessed value in some areas of Florida. Now let's talk about home insurance. If you don't know, Florida has one of the highest home insurance in the United States, and this is due to different factors. One of them being that we do have natural disasters like hurricanes. We've seen it in the past and it can cause devastation. Another one is the litigation expenses from the insurance companies are passed down to the customers, and that's why it increased from last year to this year to around 45%. So we do have really high home insurance, and the average in Florida, it's around $4,200 a year. Some stats show that it's around $6,000. It's in between those. Home insurance depends on the location, the county, the zip code, whether you're in a flood zone or not. So there are different variables about home insurance. Let's move on to rentals, because if you're considering to rent before you buy, that's also an option. Apartments for a size of 891 square feet go for around $2,440. That's the average. You can find more affordable apartments and you can find more expensive apartments in neighborhoods like Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, Sunny Isles. Of course, the prices are gonna be higher, but you do have options. Housing expense that we all have is utilities. With an apartment of this size, about 900 square feet, like I mentioned before, the electric bill is around $200. The Wi-Fi for a basic package is around $60 to $70. Then you have your personal phone bill, which it all depends on what you pay in your company, your carrier, and the package. Depending on your housing, you do have extra payments like garbage removal, the maintenance of your property. If you're a homeowner, especially for single family properties, you do have monthly maintenance of your grass, the front yard, the backyard, the roof, and things like that can be unexpected, but that's with any home ownership. And for some rentals, you do also have to pay for water and extra for parking spaces depending on the apartment building or house that you're going to live in. Let's move on to transportation. The average car expense per person, it's around $5,500 a year, which comes down to $426 a month. This is for a regular car payment. Of course, it varies depending on your car ownership. You do also have other options like the Metro Rail and the Metro Bus, which is $2.25 cents each way if you decide to go for public transportation. And with car ownership, you also have car insurance, which it comes down to be around $180, $190 more or less, depending on many factors, the zip code, your age, your driving history, but that's the average. Sometimes, even though you have a car, you may want to take Ubers. So for short distance Uber, it's around $15 to $20. There are areas like Brickell, downtown, Wynwood, Midtown, Edgewater that you do not necessarily need a car. So a lot of people decide to avoid the car expense, the car payment, and the car insurance, and just Uber and use the Metro Rail, the Metro Mover, and even the Brightline to get around, and just, you know, put all the money on Ubers. If you own a car, you also have to account for parking. Now, street parking in some areas is a little tricky, but it goes from $3, in rare occasions $2 to $4 an hour. When you're not able to find parking, which is in most cases if you go out at night, it's a little bit tricky because in some areas it could be like $10 for valet, $20, I'm talking like 1 to 2 hours. All the way to $40, $60. That's how much you can kind of estimate depending on the place that you're gonna go to, the restaurant or the building. The more luxurious, of course, you will expect to pay a higher ticket price on parking. Food and groceries. Now, again, it all depends. Do you cook at home? You don't cook at home? It all depends. But the estimate expense per day per person on groceries only, it's around $14.46. That comes around $4.50 a month. Now, the average food expenses, this includes maybe you have lunch outside or things like that, it's around $990. You can get a meal on a chain restaurant for $20. You can get a nice meal on a local budget-friendly restaurant between $30 to $40. This is without drinks. This is just food, maybe one appetizer for $50, the whole package. So those are the prices, but of course you do have higher end restaurants where a plate or you know, going out to eat can range from $100 to $1,000 per person. It all depends. And that's where it comes the entertainment and leisure and fun life here in Miami. We are known for having amazing nightlife, clubs, restaurants, entertainment, shows, and so on. So if you are in that vibe, in that scene, you can definitely expect to have a really large range of prices. Expect to go out and spend, I don't know, on a very budget-friendly place, $70 for a meal and maybe one drink on amazing restaurants, for example in Wynwood, or a sushi place that's budget-friendly but it's really good food, all the way to $250 per person for like 2 or 3 drinks and a nice meal. And some people go all the way out. I'm talking only dining, but if you're dining and going out for a club, people spend enormous amounts of money, $20,000, $30,000 on one single night, buying bottles in incredible nightclubs. So again, it all depends on your lifestyle. If you're on the budget side, you already know the numbers. If you're on the splurge side, the world is infinite. So you can spend a lot of money here in Miami. So that's that. Now, if you're into cultural, recreational, you like to go to the gym, you like events like that, for gym memberships, you can find gyms for $50, really nice gyms. Chain gyms like Equinox, Anatomy, it goes from $200 to $250 a month. Tickets for games like sports games, you can definitely find tickets for less than $100. If you like concerts, we have the arena here, FTX American Arena. I don't even know what name it is right now because it changes so often. But you can find like nice seats on amazing concerts for $150. A little bit far, but you're still able to enjoy the concert. If you want front seat, expect $3,000, $5,000 a ticket. It all depends on the artist, but you do have options. And also Miami has a lot of free events and places to go to and enjoy and have a weekend if you are on the budget side. Health insurance, again, it varies. Your age, your physical condition, and many things. If you're in a family group, if you're solo, but overall it's between $250 to $400. This is an estimate. Some health insurance packages may be higher, but that's the average here in the Miami metro area. But it's also known that it's around 6% higher compared to the national average. So keep that in mind. Whatever you're paying right now, let's just, to be safe, account for 6% more. Taxes. This is my favorite topic, and this is one of the reasons I decided to move to Miami, because we do not have state income tax. And if you are relocating from a state that has state income tax and city income tax and all sorts of taxes, this will be one of the main reasons why you may want to make the move. I came from New York City, as I said. We had there New York State and New York City taxes, so that was a little bit I didn't really like it, of course. So when I came here, I counted that for fun money. You know, why not? I'm moving to paradise and I get extra money in my pocket. So we do not have state income tax. We do have the sales tax, which is around 7% in Miami. And of course, property taxes that we already talked about it. So let's round this up. We have for housing, let's assume rental, $24.40 a month. Utilities, let's round it up to $270 a month. Transportation, I'm only including car, insurance, gas, and parking. I'm not including Uber, and this is for a regular car. $812 for food. Let's just say $990, probably a little more if you like to eat out. Entertainment, $300, which is on the very, very low end side. Health insurance, let's do the average, $350. So we have a total of $5,162 after tax. So that's really like on the edge of you living comfortably. To live comfortable, it depends for every person, right? So it is safe to account like 30 to 40% of your income go towards your basic expenses. So if that's the case, based on this, we will have a salary between $8,000 and $6,000. That's a 30 or 40% mark of your expenses. But again, it depends of the area that you want to move into. There are areas that of course you can find larger properties for less money, or areas that are a little bit more expensive, but you may save on car payment. There is for everybody here, but that's the average, which if you compare to major cities like New York, to have the same lifestyle from here compared to New York, you will need a 53.4% extra salary to have the same level of life. But for example, in Chicago, it's actually 2.6% lower than here. It all depends where you're coming from. From San Francisco, you will need a 61% higher income to have the same lifestyle. If you're coming from other cities that are less expensive, of course, the change, you're gonna see it. But if you're coming from high price ticket cities, you're gonna be living your best life here in Miami. Now, I mentioned to you guys that I was gonna share average income per neighborhood. Now, I'm just gonna mention the most popular neighborhoods. This is the average, this is not the median income. So the median income is usually lower, substantially lower, but in certain areas you do have a wide range of income. But let's go. Brickell, $160,000. Coral Gables, $182,000. Coconut Grove, $153,000. Miami Beach, $116,000. Downtown, it's $97,000. North Miami, the median household income is $44,000. I couldn't find the average, but that's the median. Little Havana, which is right next to Brickell, $55,000. And Fisher Island, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the US. Listen to this, is $2,200,000. Yes, that's the average annual income for individuals that live in Fisher Island. Final thoughts, honestly, this is paradise. Yes, prices have increased, but the lifestyle that you get here, it's rarely matched anywhere else in the US. Amazing weather, no state income tax. We do have a lot of plus, and if you're coming from a city, as I said, that you have state income tax, you are gonna have a benefit. You can balance it out expenses compared to the advantage of not paying this tax. I love it to be here. So if you are seriously thinking of relocating, do not hesitate to reach out to me. My number is 305-600-9602, 305-600-9602. Call me, text me, send me an email. All the information is going to be down in the description box. I relocated just like yourself, so I know all the process, and I will be more than happy to help you make the move. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.